Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Florida's #1 hockey podcast, the Cats and Bolts. It is your boy, Ben Castro, and we got a good show for you today. Woo!
Hey, nice work, Ben. Yes, it is. Hi, everybody. It is a special remote broadcast of the Cats and Bolts podcast. It's your boy, RP, here. No bell, but I do have a kazoo. I'm in Canada, but still following the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, and welcome to Cats and Bolts. It is Florida's favorite hockey show. Very pleased to welcome in our good friend Nick Fairbanks from the Locked On Panthers podcast. He is no stranger to this show, nor Florida Panthers hockey talk. We love to talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning here as well. And Nick, I guess as I say, welcome to December. If we're talking Panthers versus Lightning, it's going to be a good news, bad news podcast. What do you think?
Most definitely. One team's on a heater and the other team is trying to figure it out right now. It's almost as if both teams have flipped their games in the last year.
Well, yeah. Well, listen, let's settle in here. We're streaming live on YouTube. We welcome all the Panthers and Lightning fans and fans of any other teams that are watching here. I should tell you, Ben's doing a wonderful job flying this ship from Podcast Junkie Studios. We're brought to you by Unbridled Weddings and Events out of Wellington, Florida. I'm going to talk about Bree coming up in a second of Unbridled Weddings and Events, named top 10 wedding planners in all of the USA, and also coolbet.com. But Nick, let's just get down to it here. Let's try to have some fun and be as positive as we can. The Leafs went into Sunrise last night and won by a score of 4-1. The Panthers, I'm seeing all the headlines everywhere, brother. Last place. Panthers dealing with last place. It's not going over well. How's it look from your perspective?
So a lot of people are wondering, where's, the meter, where people are going to, be really worried. Personally, right now, I'm not really worried because this team has not been able to be as healthy as they should be. And I'm subtracting Kachuk and Barkov from that. He had some freak accidents to Luosterainen, and then you have Kulikov and just all these guys that are going down. It's very hard to ice a team when there's 7 or 8 guys going down. So hopefully in the near future, they will get, those guys back and they'll be able to gel again and they'll have a little bit more fun because right now they may be gripping their sticks too much and just not playing their style as they didn't last night.
Well, I'm really enjoying your level-headed perspective of this because you're on Twitter. You're in the Facebook groups, I think. I mean, people are losing their ever-loving minds. And I've read the quotes from Paul Maurice. I saw the interviews with Sergei Bobrovsky after last night's game. Nobody around there seems to be panicking. And the fans are going to panic. That's what fans do. I saw a stat here in a story that I was reading today that the Panthers are 7-0 when they score 4 goals or more in a game. 7-0. Problem is, Nick, that's not happening very often. I guess you said you're not worried. When would you start to worry?
I probably say if the team doesn't turn around and get a jolt when Kachuk comes back, then that's going to really tell me something. And then I'd probably say Kulikov because I've spoken a lot on and how much of a glue piece he is on the back six and, what he's done for this organization since he's come back. Didn't think I'd be saying that, at all, but he's been a great guy, great addition to the organization. However, if the guys don't start figuring out how to score goals and, working for each other, then, by mid-January, that's probably when I'm going to start pushing the panic button.
Yeah, well, so I said I was going to talk about Bree from Unbridled Weddings and Events. Way back last year after the Four Nations face-off when Kachuk was hurt and missed the final 2 months until the playoffs, she's like, this is a different team without Matthew Kachuk. And yeah, the veil is off. Bree is a hockey fan from Saratoga, New York, but she lives in Wellington and runs Unbridled Weddings. And she knows hockey. Nick, let's get down to it. This is a different team without Matthew Kachuk. And as you say, we're going to find out soon what they're like when he's back in the lineup. They're still not going to have Alexander Barkov. The question will be, how much difference will he make? But I think it's going to be a lot. You've obviously identified the same thing.
Most definitely. I mean, it's hard, when you don't have the guy that they brought in and changed the organization completely. He's been the guy that's been in front on talk shows. He has his own podcast now with his brother, he's the guy that really lit the match when he got here. And when he's not in the lineup or he's out for an extended period of time, you can tell the team is definitely different. That fire is a little bit different. The way they play is different. And maybe the accountability is there. But now that they're missing two major pieces and everybody's trying to pull their own weight and more, it could get a little bit of frustrating when things don't go your way.
Well, you know what I thought of when I was thinking about how they're a different team without him, especially now when they're not winning. I think it's 4 straight losses at home.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting a bargain with what they're paying him. I think it's like 8.5. And you know what I'm saying? If he is that important to this team, he's a 10 plus million per year guy. Like he's literally that important. And what do they say? You don't know what you got till he's gone. Is that what we have here with Matthew Tkachuk?
Most definitely. Again, I couldn't say more about, what he's done for the organization and, how, South Florida has become more of a hockey bed. I know we've talked about that on past shows, but yeah, once he gets in the locker room and he's actually playing, that something's going to happen.
From the audience, we got some good. Thank you, Panther fans, for showing up. It's always so much more fun when they're live and joining us, right? Stacy writes in. She says, "I feel like we start getting some of our guys back in some time, and we'll go on a win streak." I completely agree. Joshua Dorr writes in. He says, "What's going on, Rod?" He's in Deerfield. He says, "Fire Maurice, trade Bob, fire Zito." He says, no, he's joking, just so you know.
Yeah.
He says, missing top 2 guys and other key pieces. But instead of we sit here and whine and moan, I didn't see any of the game last night. Shockingly, here in Canada, the Leaf game wasn't on. You would think in Canada it would be on every television. I couldn't find it. But I had Leaf fans writing me going, "Hey, Rod, what's with the empty seats last night in Sunrise?" And I'm like, well, number 1, I didn't see it. Number 2, are we still talking about that? Number 3, you lived, Nick, a long time in South Florida, and you know what the fans are like.
Yeah.
So let me, you know where I'm going. If the good times are over, which by the way, I don't for 1 second believe that they are, but I think the popularity of the Panthers would go off the cliff fast. And I'm sitting here as a guy hosting a hockey podcast in Florida just going, oh my God, I want the Panthers to be relevant for a very long time because look at the other teams. Look at Inter Miami. When they were losing and until they got messy, the place was empty. Now they're going to the league final. They're building a new stadium. Hurricanes are packing the place because it's full, but I was at games last year when it wasn't even half full. Like, it won't take long, I don't think, for them to not be packing American Bank Arena is my point.
No, I would agree with that. And I think the history definitely dictates that point of view just because, people don't want to spend money and they don't want to be a part of something that has a losing mentality or a losing culture. So not by, as you said, not by a chance that I think that this team has that right now. They're just not playing up to their capability of what they could. They started the season wonderful. You couldn't ask for a better start.
Oh, yeah.
It's just starting to feel like, hey, we're losing pieces here and there. Every guy, again, is trying to pull their weight and they're doing much more and they're being utilized in ways that they weren't before. And it's not working. So I think Maurice and the coaching staff understand that and they're trying to make the changes. But, when it gets back to the fans, maybe you have the newer fans that really don't understand 100% of what's going on. And then you have the diehards, in the Facebook chats that are 1, freaking out, or 2, wanting to fire Zito and all that. So I just think if this season's maybe a wash, and I don't think it will be, people will still pack it, but it'll be a little bit lighter than usual.
Well, they don't give you a lot of leeway, clearly in South
Nope.
Florida. But I mean, nobody's listening to the Fire Zito crowd. Or the Fire Anything crowd.
Yeah.
Right? This is still a good team. And I just want to sprinkle in, because again, producer Ben's not able to read the comments. So I get the honor doing that today. Benny Cobbs writes in, he says, "Hey, Rod and other Ben and Nick. Hey, Ben, I can't wait to come. Have you got your goaltender's gear on yet, Ben? Because I can't wait to come down and watch you play at Baptist Health Iceplex. He's the newest member of the Goalie Union, Benny, so let me know when you got your gear. Joshua Dorr says tickets are reselling extremely cheap right now. Oh, I'll quote Nick, brah.
Yeah.
I saw when the Dolphins tickets were going for like $45 this year. And at the start of the season, which whoever thought they were going to be good anyways, the cheapest ticket was like $250. Now it's $45. So again, it doesn't take long. But let me say this. I saw this with Vegas, Nick, a few years ago when Mark Stone and William Karlsson were hurt and they missed the playoffs. When you're missing your two big guns, the NHL's too hard of a league to overcome that. Right. So my point is, if the Panthers are having a down year because of the injuries, and let's say that they can't overcome this, because I don't know whether they will or not, they're still going to be good for a very long time because that core is signed to long deals, and Bob will be signed. I don't think there's any doubt about this. So this is not a permanent slide they're on, I think is what I'm trying to get to.
No, think of it as one of those bumps in the roads that they tell us to slow down in neighborhoods, and you have to go over. This one may be just a longer bump, and I agree with you with Bob. It's to me, it's just a matter of time. He's worth his contract and more right now. It just depends on what the number is going to be, and I didn't want to say this because I'm superstitious with hockey especially, but if Florida wants to have their third cup and be one of the only teams to do that, this is the last hurdle they're going to have to overcome. They're going to have to overcome these injuries. They're going to have to stick together. They're going to have to tread water until they get everybody back. And if they were able to do that and win the cup, this right here would be the staple, or however you want to call it, on their dynasty.
Well, culture goes a long way. And I was just reading a story today by Tim Reynolds of the Associated Press, who said the Panthers at this time 3 years ago had this exact same amount of points. And they rallied and went to the Stanley Cup. We all know what that season was. Now, Joshua Dorr says they just won 2 in a row. People forget quickly. We can't listen to them. Vincent Viola's not listening to them. Nobody's listening to the fans. You can't. Okay, so let's forget what the fans are saying. Let's go back to what the players and the coach are saying. Like Bob said, we believe in each other. That's how they won a Stanley Cup, Nick. Like 3 years ago, Paul Maurice was just building his culture. The Panthers still had a good culture outside of what Paul brought, but he obviously augmented it. And this is still Sam Reinhart, Sam Bennett, Aaron Ekblad, Gustav Forsling. It's still the party. It's still those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like it's for him to say we believe in each other. It was kind of a revelation. Yet I'm like, I didn't for one second think they didn't. Have you?
No, not at all. And I think Bob is more the spiritual type of person that like looks at things in the big picture of things. So he will never give up on this team. He'll never give up for the guys. And the thing that I find interesting is you had Paul Maurice come in, and how many months did it take for his system to get installed and actually play the way they wanted? It was like 2 or 3 months, right?
At least, yeah. Till
So
Christmas. Yeah.
So now you have these new players that are not playing in their natural positions, or you're bringing guys up who don't really play this system that much, and they're trying to learn it. Imagine trying to learn that system while you're on the fly and you're trying to win games right now because you need to. So to me, right now, this kind of is more of a similar type of situation that they were trying to learn the system and win games. And again, as you said, they had the same amount of points as they did 3 years ago. So any panic right now, they shouldn't have it.
I don't think they are in the dressing room at all. And fans are just going to be fans. But I just want to go, because we call it the Cats and Bolts podcast, and we try to dedicate some time to the Lightning. What the hell, brother? 7 in a row going into Long Island last night, which they lost 2-1, but even the hardcores in Tampa were like, we weren't going to win them all. I didn't really see that coming. I wasn't going to be as stupid as to pick them not to make the playoffs. Like I said last year, I'll be living that down for the rest of my life. But I didn't see them being in first place in the Atlantic Division at U.S. Thanksgiving. Did you?
No, I thought more of the same was where they're going to tread water. However, Brandon Hagel got shot out of a cannon. I think he's got 14 or 15 goals. And he's been their engine this season. I also think that Vasilevsky left a lot to be desired to start the season, but now he's starting to get into a groove. I'm interested to see what happens with Hedman if his injury status continues, because that'll be a big piece that they'll need down the stretch. But maybe that team is starting to come together now. Like they believe in each other and they know that they're better than what they've shown the past couple of postseasons.
By the way, Okay, well, I'll get back to the Panthers in a second. As far as the Lightning go, what I'm enjoying is that I love that it's a rivalry now. It's like 5 seasons ago, nobody can argue with me to say that it wasn't a rivalry. It was two teams that played in the same state. They sure as hell didn't hate each other, and the fans were actually encouraging each other. Now they hate each other, and I love seeing Lightning fans scoffing at the Panthers and vice versa. Like, Nick, that's what you want. That's been fun to see that grow.
Of course, I mean, there's more on the table. Basically, these fans they want to be able to make these games meaningful. It's not fun when you watch two teams, that are close proximity. That it's just another game. It doesn't
Yeah.
really mean anything, or you already expect what the outcome's going to be. It's a foregone conclusion. So it's great to see. It's good for the NHL. It's good for both teams. Money wise, it's going to draw the
Oh,
fans.
yeah.
But you needed something like this. And I remember watching few of your early shows where, yeah, you guys did say like it is a rivalry, but it doesn't feel like it. Well, I think 3 or 4 rounds of playoffs will make you hate somebody.
Oh my God. So where were you? Were you watching the night of the last preseason game with the 314 penalty minutes and the 16 ejections or whatever the hell? Were you watching that, or were you at least following it?
I was following it. I did not watch it. It just, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I was just following.
Well, it's like, I'm sure you're going, what the hell is going on down there? I was sitting in row 8 in Brent from Wellington, Florida seats with my neighbor Fish going, I could not literally believe my eyes. And we've talked enough about it, that game on this show all season long. But just if you need to underscore where this rivalry is at and the fact that the fan bases are poking crap at each other, it's exactly what we want. Benny, regarding his goaltenders, Gary said he doesn't have his goalie gear yet. Okay, Ben, let me know the second you do so I can come down to Baptist. I'm going to bring my skates back with me from Canada this time. I've always left them up here. I'm going to bring them down, and if I may, would love to come skate with you guys Friday afternoon, Benny, at Baptist Health Iceplex. Now, I love what you've done with the place. Nick, could explain to me the jerseys over your shoulder and the significance of what they are to you, please.
Yeah, so the one that I'm looking at, kind of like what you guys see on camera, is the Pride Night Lundell jersey. Kind of a few things that are important to me as far as like being a human being. And then, I like to call myself as the president of the Lundell fan club. That might be more of a Twitter thing, but and then you have the red jersey, which was my personal jersey that was personalized that I got as a gift. And I have the 2024 patch on it that I haven't worn since they won. So I'm just trying to like emulate and keep that as a core memory going forward.
Do you have a Bure Panthers jersey?
I think all my jerseys before I got one of Jonathan Huberdeau are all Bure.
Okay, well, it's funny because I don't know if you watched the episode that we had with Jeff Rimmer on here, the former voice of the Panthers. We were just talking about who would be the next retired jersey of the Panthers, and it was a fun chat. And he's like, "How about Pavel Bure?" And I'm like, I can't have an opinion on that because I didn't live there at the time. But when you still walk around American Bank Arena now and you still see Bure jerseys, that kind of tells you the impact the guy had.
Definitely. I mean, he was the offense. Unfortunately, a lot of people thought he was cherry picking, which mostly he was. But to put up 58 or 59 goals on those teams in the clutch and grab era, it's unbelievable. And his speed is like nothing I've seen except for maybe Connor McDavid. So he definitely should have his jersey retired, even though it was only for
Wow.
2.5 seasons. But definitely, what he was able to do night in, night out, and get people to go to the games and get their butts out of the seats like when he has the puck. He was that electric.
High praise, high praise. How many times did you have the good fortune of watching Mike Modano play with the Dallas Stars?
I was younger. I was able to catch him at least on ESPN2 because ESPN was actually good with hockey back then. Not saying they're not now, it's just different coverage. But Modano was another one of those guys that would just be flying down the wing and being able to take the puck to the net. And, if I had to put, Bure against Modano in maybe a race, I'd probably give the edge to Bure just because he can handle the puck while he's going at that speed. But Modano is no slouch either. Probably one of the best Americans ever to play.
I would love to see that race. There's a reason they call him the Russian Rocket, obviously. And then my dad worked for Dallas for 26 years. So Mike Modano is my favorite player ever in NHL history. I've never told you that. But I also believe he is the best USA player ever. But I get a lot of arguments from Pat LaFontaine fans and whatever. Yeah, we won't go down that road. But speaking of that, are you getting excited at all about the Olympics? Because again, I haven't even been in Canada for a week, and it's all they're talking about is Team Canada at the Olympics. You can imagine.
Of course, I think right now it's not very popular here in the United States. I just think that, we know some of the roster right now, and, a lot of the people that are going to be on there are not living up to expectations. I mean, you have, Austin Matthews, who's not having the best season, although he's playing more defensively. You have the Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk right now, who's out, and, hopefully he'll be 100% healthy for the Olympics. But in America, unfortunately, I just don't think hockey and, the Winter Olympics are as put together as we like to seem. I mean, we'll remember we'll remember Miracle and everything, but tell me another time that an American can tell you about USA hockey.
For the Olympics, not at all. In Canada, USA won the 96 World Cup of hockey, which people were comparing the Four Nations face-off last year to that 96 USA World Cup team, but nobody would remember. Canadians remember that USA team better than Americans do, right? But having said that, you were in South Florida during Four Nations face-off last year, and everybody was talking about that. I feel like it's like there's just so much going on right now, and I don't know if Inter Miami's making a wave that they're in the MLS final. I just heard that this week. I don't follow soccer, but I feel like, especially if Matthew Tkachuk is healthy and playing for USA, that South Florida will pick up come Olympic. You can't miss it, like, for God's sakes, it's the Olympics.
No, I just hope that everybody understands that it's going to be a different style of game, and maybe it's going to be more of a beautiful skill-based game where Matthew Tkachuk will still make his presence known, and if anything, he and his brother are the reason why that those games became so popular.
Yes.
And they're like, oh my goodness, like, look at all these fights that are going on. Like, these teams hate each other. It's like, well, there's other things that were going on that kind of like built that up in the fan base. But no, if Matthew's there, you can expect that Americans and especially South Florida people will be watching the Olympics.
It's funny. So Stacy writes in, she says, I was going to ask you what you guys think of the Olympic jerseys, but not sure if you've seen them all yet. I have, and I try to be a positive guy, but I'm like, how many variations of the Team USA jersey can you have? I'll be honest, they all look the same to me. Like, I saw it. It's not knocking my socks off. Do you see it?
No, I think it's just a copy and paste and maybe change the blue a little bit. But, I don't know. Again, as you said, I don't know what you can do.
What can
Canada has definitely done something different, which I applaud them for. And I don't think they look as different, or I'll say, as many people want to believe. I think that they went definitely for more of a modern style with a new type of leaf, which I think works for the younger generation. But, maybe lean off a little bit, the black a little bit. And I think you guys have a classic jersey for years to come.
We only have red and white. They added black some years ago, and it ticked a lot of people off because they're like, we're red and white. And I get it. I get why they would be mad about that. I like the old Phil Esposito with the half maple leaf down that. You remember those old ones?
Yep.
That's what I would like to see them wear every year. But like you say, with the USA, it's simple, it's clean. It's like the Rangers jerseys coming in for the Winter Classic. But those Panthers jerseys I haven't talked to you about, they probably sold them all out by now, I would think. I mean, everywhere you look, somebody's wearing a Winter Classic Panthers. Did they nail that? The whole outfit.
So as far as like a classic jersey and everything that goes behind it, yes, I really do. I think jerseys back in the day, which was a Wednesday, they definitely went back to how much was going on those jerseys, like the stripes on the arms, on the socks. Like it reminds you of 30s, 40s hockey, even with the original six teams. However, the one thing that I don't understand about the jerseys or the design is hockey wasn't really known in Florida in the 30s, and this franchise was started in '93. So to me, as a Panthers fan, why are they combining that, or like what's the thought process of combining that? Other than that, I think the jerseys look pretty cool. The Rangers, as you were saying, copy and paste, and I thought that they could do a lot more with their history and what they could have done.
Well, okay, you've given me a task. And by the way, I'm coming back to Florida. I'm coming back to Florida on Sunday with no intentions to leave. Hopefully, ever. We don't ever want to leave. I had to go for work here, but I'll look into that because what you're saying makes a lot of sense. It's kind of a disjointed. The team's only been around 30 years, but you're honoring 100 years ago. I'll look into that. But what I think is the NHL wants that old 100-year ago look. You've seen team photos from hockey teams from up here from 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the gloves look like, right? That's what they're going for. So maybe it doesn't need to make sense, Nick. You're a very obviously a very analytical thinker, a scientist at heart. Just go with it is what I would say. I so can't wait for the games. And to be honest, I don't wear jerseys. So it was all I could do not to stop in and buy one the first night that they went on sale a couple of weeks ago to America. And I may still buy one. But I'm cheap. I'm cheap. So anyway, hey, you said you're going to see the Panthers on the road. Tell our folks about that. Or you're hoping to, anyways.
Yeah, no, I definitely am. Weather permitting, obviously up here, but I will be going to see the Wild on the 24th, and then I will be driving down to Chicago to go see the Blackhawks because I love watching the Panthers against the Blackhawks. It's just a personal thing of mine. If you guys have seen previous episodes, so hoping for back-to-back wins and for the team to show up.
What night of the week is that game in Chicago?
That is going to be a Sunday. They play Saturday against the Wild.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask was you or Ben asked what I'm doing up here, and I'm speaking at sports banquets, sports dinners. It's a thing that we do in Canada, and one of the guest speakers was Lorne Mulliken, the former head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks. Do you remember Lorne? You were living there then. Mm-hmm. When he was the head coach. So I talked to him about the Saturday night Blackhawks games in the United Center. I'm like, again, I'll quote you, bruh.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was there last January. The Blackhawks were the worst team in the NHL playing Vegas. Like, who's Vegas? Like, they're not a rivalry team to the Black. That place, you couldn't have got another soul in there. That guy that sings the national anthem was singing from his toes. Everybody was on their feet. I was in the Blackhawks alumni suite with Chris Chelios. We're just shooting the shit. And he's like, "Oh, we got to go outside. We got to go out front here. This is a big deal." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he wasn't lying.
No, I mean, it really shows you how the game is regrown in Chicago. I mean, being an original six does help it, but having, a player like Connor Bedard, as you say, and the fact that he's playing as well as he is now. I mean, I saw a shootout goal last night. That was the dirtiest thing I think I've seen him do in a while. But when you have the Blackhawks being good, hockey is much better for the whole league. And then on top of that, the city really does buy in. I mean, unfortunately, Cubs fans and Bears fans, Bears are good this year, but they will never not go to a game. And I think the Blackhawks are now becoming one of those franchises there that it doesn't matter. They're going to be supported no matter what.
And people still remember the 3 Stanley Cups from the last decade. There's no doubt they're still riding that. I want to welcome Bill, my good guy, Bill Edwards, tuned in from the Queen City. He says 1972 Canada Summit Series whites and reds were the best ever. That was with the half maple leaf. I mean, I wasn't alive yet, but I've seen all the photos and the videos and stuff. So, Bill, thanks for joining us here on Cats and Bolts. And to you too, Nick, do you want to give a shout out to Locked On Panthers and what you guys are doing over there and our boy Mondo?
Yeah, no, I just want to give a shout out to Mondo for always having me on every Friday for Fairbanks Fridays. I know that he's definitely on the road a lot. So the fact that he's still bringing content every single day shows his passion and his commitment to not only the show, but to Florida Panthers fandom. So definitely give him a listen, give him a look on YouTube as well. And, if anything, I don't know if you and I would have honestly met if it wasn't for maybe that podcast or maybe another one like Cats and Rats.
Yeah, no kid. Well, I got to get those guys on here. Mondo, Kirby, all those guys. The best, man. They've been covering the Panthers through thick and thin,
Mhm.
and they do a wonderful job, and they're legit within the fan base. I love that. By the way, Trevor Harris has shown up. Trevor Harris from WQAM. He says, "What up, Rod? What up with you, Trevor? You showed up. You missed a lot, Trevor. We're wrapping it up for today, but we're just to recap for those that just joined us late. We're not panicking that the Panthers are in last place in the Eastern Conference. It's been a long time since they were there, but I think I don't even. Somebody quoted Paul Maurice. It was the gentleman Bill that hosts the Panthers Fan Dan podcast. I guess Paul Maurice had said over the last couple of years he doesn't even look at the standings till the new year. And I'm like, I didn't need to see that quote because I know that. I know that the coaches aren't. And people would find that very hard to believe, Nick, but they spend a half a season fine-tuning what they have, right? And maybe they glance at the roster or at the standings, but they don't panic over it. Certainly not to the degree that the fans do. But anyways, Trevor, thanks for keeping an eye on the Miami area for me while I've been away in Canada for a week. I'll be back Sunday, and let's get together here in the holiday season. And Nick, thank you, brother. Keep in touch. Thanks for doing this with us. Great job as always.
I appreciate you, and thank you for having me on. See you soon.
Yeah, and to Benny and Eric, you guys always do a bang-up job producing Florida's favorite hockey show. We'll do it again next Wednesday live from Podcast Junkie Studios. See you then, everybody.